When we talk about domestic violence, we typically talk about it as if it's always a straight man who's doing it, and it's always a straight woman who's on the receiving end. The reality is that a lot of people who commit abuse or receive abuse do not fit that stereotype. Today, I want to talk about abuse among LGBTQ couples, what it can look like, how it can differ from abuse in straight relationships, and what to do if you identify as LGBTQ and you feel like your behavior might be crossing that line into harmful or even abusive territory. My name's Rosie Jewell, I'm with the And Nice Foundation, and I'm ready when you are. Let's get started.
If you want to stop causing harm in your relationships, you're on the right path. This is Journey of Change, a video series to help you become the safe, loving partner you are meant to be.
I want to begin with just a couple of points. Number one, I identify as LGBTQ, so hopefully this won't come across as preachy or anything like that. Number two, abuse in our community, rates of abuse in our community are actually as high, if not higher, than they are among straight couples. So that certainly goes against a lot of the stereotypes that we have about what abuse looks like and who does it. You might be wondering what exactly constitutes abuse, so I'll go through some definitions. When we say domestic violence, we're really talking about any of the physical aspects of abuse. So it can range from things like pulling someone's hair, pushing them around, slapping them, to perhaps on the more severe end, kicking someone, beating them up, using a weapon against them. And actually threatening to do these things also counts as domestic violence. When we say domestic abuse, we're including the more emotional components of abuse. So things like gaslighting, manipulation, saying things that are designed to put someone down, attack their personal characteristics, make them feel crazy or stupid. Also things like stonewalling, where we completely shut down and just refuse to engage with our partner. All of these things count as emotional abuse or domestic abuse, and they can really have big impacts on someone's sense of self-esteem and sense of well-being. There are also some specific forms of abuse in LGBTQ couples that we don't see in straight couples. A common one is threatening to out somebody, whether it's in their workplace or to their family, using that to try and control them or manipulate them. Another one is ridiculing someone's identity or undermining their identity. Let's say someone who is bisexual or non-binary, telling them that they just need to make up their mind and really kind of putting them down and making them feel bad about themselves for their identity. Those are also forms of abuse that we don't tend to see in straight couples for obvious reasons. It can also be harder for us to access services to get help when we go to these domestic violence shelters or try to get help from a domestic violence service. Often the people giving those services don't fully understand abuse in LGBTQ relationships, or they don't take it as seriously. And of course, in some parts of the world, we may be facing outright persecution, discriminatory laws. So it can really make it harder to get the help that we need, whether we're on the receiving end of abuse or we're the one doing it. I want to go back to that stereotype that I mentioned at the start, that people who commit abuse are always men. They're always doing it to women. And it's always done out of an attitude of entitlement or superiority or downright misogyny. They just hate women. And I don't doubt that that's true some of the time. I know that there are men out there who feel that way, and it's reflected in their personal, intimate relationships. But it just doesn't explain why abuse is happening in our community or why the rates of abuse are so high. The real common factor here, the real reason why most people are committing abuse, is that hurt people hurt people. When we have emotional wounds that we haven't healed from properly, we're far more likely to have unhealthy coping mechanisms and behaviors that are harmful or even abusive in our relationships. How do we get those hurts? It can be anything from having parents who are overly critical, judgmental, or harsh, growing up with someone who is alcoholic or abusive, being neglected, being abandoned or rejected by our family, perhaps on the basis of our identity. It can also be things that have happened after our childhood, such as experiencing a hate crime, or being harassed or bullied in the workplace, or of course being in an abusive relationship ourselves. All of these traumatic experiences, and let me just say that straight men certainly do not have a monopoly on those experiences. They can leave us with deep doubts about who we are as people, whether we're good enough, whether we fit in, whether we matter, whether we're lovable. And it's those doubts that really drive our unhealthy behaviors and abusive behaviors. Now, if all of this is ringing bells for you, if you heard those definitions of abuse and you saw yourself in them, I have some news for you. Ignore those stereotypes that abusers don't change, and know that change is possible. You can make those changes to your behavior. You can have the healthy, loving relationships that you want and you deserve. It really begins with committing to change, just saying, I have made a mistake, really owning up to that fact, and then looking for the help that you need and finding out what the change process actually looks like. Because it's not just about willpower and saying, I'm not going to do it again. It's really about making deep changes to our behavior, understanding where it comes from, and how to put healthier behaviors in place. This is not an easy process. It is possible, but it's not easy. So we really recommend that you get help from a counsellor if you can, if that's an option for you. Maybe a counsellor who specialises in LGBTQ issues or issues of abuse. The reason why we say this in every video is that counsellors are trained to help us spot patterns in our behaviour. They're trained to help us understand where those behaviours come from and how to kind of work through the things that we've been through, the difficult or traumatic experiences that we might have had, so that we can put healthier behaviours in place. We also really encourage you to head to our website, ananiasfoundation.org. We have a ton of resources that will help you on your journey. We have information on what that change process looks like in more detail than I've gone into here. We also have a downloadable guidebook, which you can work through on your own. And it's based on tried and tested counselling principles, so it will really help you. We also have online groups which you can sign up to. It's all online, so very accessible. You can remain anonymous if you want to. And we work through the guidebook 1 week at a time and then discuss what we've been learning and what we've experienced in the group. And these groups are completely open to people from all walks of life. You are very, very welcome to join them, and we think that they will help you a lot. I hope this has spoken to you today. Again, if it was ringing bells, if it's been uncomfortable for you to watch this and recognize some of yourself, I want you to know again that change is possible, that you're not alone, and that we are here to help you at the Ananias Foundation. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions at all, any suggestions on video topics that you would like us to cover next, any comments at all, just let us know. My name's Rosie Jewell with the Ananias Foundation, and until next time, take care.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm honoured to be on this journey of change with you, and I hope I've helped you in some way. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to hit the like button, share this with others who might find it helpful, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. For more resources, head to our website, ananiasfoundation.org. Until next time, take care, and remember, change is possible.